Hey folks, Justin here from Leonidas Knives and Gear Channel. I hope you're doing well out there. I've got a hobby-related review for you all today. I'll be taking a look at the Gaahleri Advanced Series Model GHAD-39 Airbrush. Now in their series, they have Classic, the Advanced, Premium, Ace, and Supreme. So this being the Advanced Series, it's more like a beginner, maybe kind of lower intermediate type brush. Now, as for me and where I'm at, that's perfect for me. I've only been airbrushing close to a year now. I've used a couple other brushes. They've been okay. The first one was complete junk. It was just some Amazon $20 piece of crap. And that only lasted a couple months, but it was a nice starter brush. Then I moved up to a no-name brand, which is actually the mini compressor I'm using here on this Gaahleri model airbrush, and the compressor's been really good. The airbrush I struggled with, but it was kind of, I got what I paid for. I think technically the brush was about $40 or so. So anyway, now this model here, the GHAD-39, it's like $40 to $50 range on Amazon, so it is affordable. And I will go ahead and say, if you're a beginner or maybe getting close to intermediate, I mean, this is the perfect airbrush for you, or at least, well, let me tell you what I'm doing with it now. I'm mostly playing around with surface primers, for example. Got a Vallejo here, so I'm priming things. Like I've got a Battletech Mini here, so I prime the minis. Then I like to hand paint them. Sometimes I will airbrush them with like a coat, like a thin coat of whatever base color I'm playing around with after that primer, but mostly hand paint. And then I will follow up with some kind of varnish or clear coat. I've got this Ultra Matte from Ammo MIG, which is really good varnish there as well. So that's mainly what I'm doing. I'm mainly starting a mini or a scale model with a primer, and then I'm hand painting, sometimes brushing, airbrushing on paint, and then I'm finishing up with a clear coat. Now, so advanced folks, you'll be using, something that has a little bit more control. You can get, a little bit more acute, colors on whatever you're doing, get a little more fine detail work. I'm not necessarily going for that with this brush, and it's not really designed to do that at this level for this price point. And then just with its capabilities. Now you can play around with different needles and nozzles and get more fine tuning, detailed effects. But for what I'm doing with this brush, it's just fine. Now something I noticed that makes this brush so effective and easy to work with and easy to maintain is from the cup towards and through the channel to the nozzle. It's sort of widened in there, and the paint just flows really nicely. So really what gets a lot of people with airbrushing, it's a couple things, but I know one big one is, you're getting your paint clogged and it's getting stuck and it's all getting gunked up and jammed up. And there's a couple, things you can do to alleviate that. Number one is keeping the airbrush nice and clean between paint jobs, which is pretty difficult. Keeping a nozzle perfectly clean between when you're painting and when you're not, it definitely is a little bit tedious. This one has not been that bad. You just use like a little scrub brush and get that out. Again, it's tedious, but it's got to be done. And then running different cleaning solutions. Now, something that most people who airbrush are familiar with, but if you're not, you pretty much need to use some kind of flow improver, especially depending on the paint. Let me give you a good example of two different brands of the same color that have different viscosity. So this Ammo MIG is very thin, this white, and this Vallejo is thicker. And this Vallejo, I've got to use more airbrush thinner to make it flow better with my airbrush. There's different ratios. People, do different mixes, custom mixes. I kind of just custom mix it per color at that point. I'm sure that's what most people out there do, but that's something to be aware of, that each paint, each color, each brand that you're going to be working with, you have to treat them differently. Some paints are so thin you may not even really need to use some sort of improver or a thinner, but that's just each individual airbrushing skill level and how you want your project to turn out and how quickly you want it to get done. But overall, I've had a really good experience with this airbrush. Again, for somebody at my level, this is perfect, and I would like to bump up and get a much nicer one for more detailed work. But yeah, for what I'm doing, I'm able to get what I feel are really nice projects done in a timely fashion. Now, yeah, everyone's got different, time constraints with their hobbies. Some people are doing this, maybe, they're trying to make some money out of it. I'm just having fun. And it's just, we won't exactly call it amateur hour, but, again, for as long as I've been airbrushing, yeah, I'm not super skilled, but I have learned a lot in the past year. And yeah, so this is really phenomenal airbrush, and I will put a link to their Amazon storefront down in the description box. But yeah, I'm excited to keep using this and moving forward. I've completed some really good projects with it, and yeah, I'm just going to keep it going as long as I can. What's also so great about a lot of these airbrushes is, these parts are interchangeable. You can, if you break a needle or clog a nozzle, and you're just unable to clear that out, you can swap those parts out and keep moving forward. So, all right, folks, that's pretty much all I got. So if you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to get some feedback down there in the comments, and please subscribe. Thank you.